Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more latest news. So lots to negotiate on this video today, but the first topic of development I'm going to give you an update on is in regards to Jadon Sancho. Now I haven't spoken to you guys about Jadon Sancho in quite a while, so now I've just been reading recent reports, and they say that Jadon Sancho is set to leave Borussia Dortmund next summer, and it reportedly says that Manchester United and Manchester City are set to battle it out for his current services. Obviously, we do know that we was in for Jadon Sancho, throughout the course of the summer. Was also in for Jadon Sancho, back in the January transfer window. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had identified, Jadon Sancho as his number one target, back in the January transfer window and that. And obviously, we do know that Jadon Sancho is a very, very good player. He's had two good seasons with Borussia Dortmund. Obviously, now he's into his third season now as a Borussia Dortmund player. I still believe he's going to cost us or City in the access around £100 million, because obviously Jadon Sancho has still got around, is it 2.5, 3 years left on his contract, because he is under contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2022. Obviously we do know that Jadon Sancho is primarily a winner. He can also play centrally, but he's predominantly a winner. And obviously we do know throughout the course of the summer that Manchester United were in search for a winner. But I do believe the main factor reason why we failed to land Jadon Sancho throughout the course of the summer, obviously with our failure to qualify for the Champions League and that. And I did say certain players would have had reservations about joining our football club, of us failing to qualify for the Champions League. But I think if Jadon Sancho wants to come back to the Premier League, I think it would help him with his developing process. I think it would create a better platform for him, because I think he's been a fruition in his 2 seasons with Borussia Dortmund and that. And plus already he's had obviously experience of playing in the Premier League, because obviously before he was at Borussia Dortmund he was at Manchester City. Well, he initially began his career with Watford, did Jadon Sancho, but actually he then went to Manchester City. I think he served a couple of years with Manchester City, but obviously never got guaranteed to be a first team regular in that. So I think this is the main factor reason why he left Manchester City, and of course went to Borussia Dortmund. I think Borussia Dortmund paid, was it around £7 or £8 million for him, back in 2017. But Jadon Sancho is skillful. His pace is very, very good. He's good at getting them runs in behind, and I would be excited about the prospects of Jadon Sancho, playing with the likes of Rashford, Martial, Daniel James and that in our attacking line. And I think also, he would be a good upgrade, to the likes of, Lingard and Juan Mata, with Jadon Sancho. And I think Jadon Sancho is only 19 years of age, plus he's British as well. And Solskjaer did say throughout the course of the summer that he does want to recruit British talent to Manchester United and that. I do believe City have got some kind of clause in Jadon Sancho's deal and that. So if any bids are put in for Jadon Sancho, I think City do have to be informed about it. But I think Jadon Sancho is set to leave Borussia Dortmund next summer, and I think already Borussia Dortmund are looking for a replacement for Jadon Sancho and that. Obviously Borussia Dortmund have lost quite a few of their players in recent years. Obviously we do know that they lost Aubameyang, was it a couple of years ago. I think they sold him for around, was it £56 million. They also lost Ousmane Dembele, don't forget him, a couple of years ago as well. They also of course lost Christian Pulisic to Chelsea, back in the January transfer window and that. So Borussia Dortmund have lost quite a few of their key players in recent years. But I'd love Jadon Sancho at Manchester United. I think he'd be a great addition to the squad. He brings them goals and that we do currently need. And Jadon Sancho, I think, he's made, since he broke into the first team with Borussia Dortmund, I think he's made about 57 or is it 58 first team appearances, scored around 15 goals and provided around 24 assists and that. So I did initially say anyway, the players that we was in for, throughout the course of summer, even the players we was in for in January who we didn't manage to get, I think, we could, revive our interest in them players, in this upcoming January transfer window and that. And, and the board have obviously, the board have assured that, they're going to be back in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in January, probably perhaps next summer, because I do believe that the board have come to terms that they realise that they didn't back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough throughout the course of the summer, that they didn't get all the signings that he wanted to recommend in and that. So regardless of what happens this season, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job is safe with Manchester United, regardless of what happens with this season. As long as we're not in relegation, or as long as we're not in that mid-table, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job of course will be safe and that. But like I did still say, there is still key areas of course where Manchester United are lacking. But I did say it was going to be hard for us, to address all the problematic areas in one summer transfer window, because obviously we do know this has been Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first summer as Manchester United manager, and that it was good that he brought three good players to the football club. Did Solskjaer? We spent around £148 million on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka, and of course on Harry Maguire. And that with Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka, Harry Maguire, we have seen glimpses of what good signings they've proven to be so far. Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka were both fantastic, throughout pre-season. That it was good to see Daniel James, scoring on his Premier League debut against Chelsea, coming off the bench and that. And my overarching view on Daniel James is, he's still a prospect, and of course he needs time to develop and that. And there's still obviously improvements need in his game and that. But he's got electrifying pace, and his pace is unbelievable. He's Daniel James. And Wan-Bissaka, I thought he was good on his Premier League debut. He was also fantastic throughout pre-season, and I do believe now Wan-Bissaka has got all the ingredients required to become a huge success at Manchester United. And Wan-Bissaka, I think his defensive contribution is good. I think he intercepts the ball really well, and obviously he's going to be our first choice right back this season. And I do believe Wan-Bissaka can be our right back for the next decade without a shadow of a doubt. I know we've got a few full-backs in that, but obviously Wan-Bissaka of course is the first choice, and I'm happy we addressed that right hand side, but I'm just disappointed of course that we didn't recommend right winger in. So hopefully next summer we can possibly get a deal over the line for Jadon Sancho. £100 million is a substantial amount, but obviously we've got the financial power to meet that valuation, because obviously we're one of the richest clubs in the world, and a massive club. Obviously we've got massive revenues, and anywhere in recent years and that we've got obviously a history of spending a big on players and that. And I know we have overpaid for players, but we have obviously got the money to do that. My overarching view on Harry Maguire is I think he's going to be fantastic for Manchester United, and I think our defensive transition now looks really good, and I think we have improved defensively. Obviously with the arrival of Harry Maguire and Wan-Bissaka and that, we have improved defensively. With Harry Maguire, I know we may have overpaid for him. We paid around £80 million for him. Obviously he's the most expensive defender in the world. Obviously the fee that we paid obviously exceeded the fee of what Liverpool paid for Virgil van Dijk back in January 2018. And Harry Maguire, in my opinion, is regarded as one of the best centre halves in the Premier League. I wouldn't say he's on Virgil van Dijk's calibre or level. I don't think he's anywhere near as good as Virgil van Dijk yet, but maybe can emulate into Virgil van Dijk's level as he goes on. Harry Maguire, and I do believe he's not as good as Laporte, but I say he's in my top 4 category or top 5 category is Harry Maguire without a shadow of a doubt, because his distribution's really good. He shows that ability to play out from the back, does Harry Maguire. He's also very good in the air. Like I said, he's not very fast, Harry Maguire, but I did say even before he got officially announced, I don't think that's a concern of element. He's 26 years of age, is Harry Maguire. He has of course still got a lot of years ahead of him in that, and I think he's going to succeed at Manchester United. And I think him alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line does look absolutely fantastic indeed. Because obviously they do complement each other really well, as that got indicated out in the Chelsea game. Lindelof and Harry Maguire looked great together in our back line and that, and obviously that's going to be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice centre backs this season. Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof in the Premier League anyway. Maybe in the cup games Solskjaer may rotate him a little bit in that, but obviously Harry Maguire is the best option than what we've currently got in our back line at the moment. I know we've got Lindelof, and these question marks around him. Can he keep the consistency up? And I do believe Victor Lindelof can keep the consistency up. And I think in his first season at Manchester United, he didn't really settle in, Victor Lindelof and that. Obviously, we got him from Benfica for around, was it £30 million? I think it was around 30 or 31 million pounds. But I thought in his second season, Victor Lindelof was absolutely tremendous in that. I thought his distribution was good. He was passing the ball really well. He was getting more involved, was Victor Lindelof, making, decent runs in that. And I think so far this season has been absolutely fantastic. He did well throughout pre-season. Also, did well in the Chelsea game and that. So I think they're going to blend in very well together. And I think Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof, can emulate into like a Vidic and Ferdinand, because, they were a great centre-back partnership, under the Alex Ferguson and Moreira and that. And I didn't, as you said before, we got Harry Maguire in, we didn't have a world-class central defender, since we had the likes of Vidic and Ferdinand. And we didn't really have a good defence to rebuild on since we had, Vidic, Ferdinand, Gary Neville and, Patrice Evra and all that, because they were great defenders, back under the Alex Ferguson and Moreira. I didn't, as you said, that we didn't have a good defensive right-back since we had the likes of Gary Neville. But I think, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, can definitely emulate into Gary Neville, without the shadow of a doubt. But yeah, the team does look a lot better now. I'm still sceptical about Manchester United winning the league. I don't think we're going to win the league this season. I don't think that's going to happen. I think our expectations this season, obviously, we'll be able to finish in that top four. Perhaps maybe win the Europa League or win something else. Obviously, we do know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got to exceed these expectations and that. But I think we're gonna. I already give you my prediction. I think we're gonna probably finish third this season. That, but I said we have got big ambitions for the future. Solskjaer wants to get Manchester United back to being a competitive team. Obviously, wants to get us back to winning silverware. This is something, of course, he wants to bring back to the football club, and of course, he wants to bring the right philosophy to Manchester United. Wants to bring that winning mentality, of course, back to the club. But with the dimension of this football club, also with the history of this football club, we should be up there challenging, of course, winning silver. But we've been so inconsistent for the last 6 years or so, and like I said, I've been unhappy the way that the football club has been run in the last 6 or 7 years and that. But like I said, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, whilst the summer transfer window was open, I think he had negotiations with Ed Woodward about the lack of business in this transfer market and that. But I think Solskjaer is delighted with our summer transfer business. It's good that we got that experienced centre half, and it's good that we got that right back in that. But I have still got strong reservations about our midfield. Don't get me wrong, I've got strong reservations about our midfield. Yeah, I've got strong reservations and that about our midfield. So yeah, still further more investment, is definitely needed and that. But you can still say that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is in the process of currently rebuilding that. Obviously, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival, we do know that obviously 4 players have departed the football club and that. And I do believe more players need to be sold by Manchester United because these problematic players at the football club and that. Obviously, it got confirmed the other week that Ronald Lukaku had left Manchester United. Obviously, he left Manchester United, and I think that was good. That was good business in that. It was good business in that aspect, of getting rid of Romelu Lukaku and that. And I think we generated a substantial amount for his current departure. We actually recouped the money that we did pay for him from Everton a couple of years ago, because I do believe that we did overpay for Lukaku and that. Obviously, at the time we got him, we paid £75 million. Obviously, there was 15 million add-ons included, so it did initially rise it up to around £90 million. Credit Lukaku, he was exceptional in his first season at Manchester United and that. He wasn't so good, of course, in his second season. So Lukaku did spend 2 seasons at the football club and that. Obviously now he's gone to Inter Milan, and Solskjaer, does hope for the best for Lukaku at Inter Milan. But I think that was a good piece of business in that aspect of generating a substantial amount for the player that basically was a flop for Manchester United. So I'm glad we've got rid of him, and obviously we're gonna bank this £70 million that we've cashed in for him, and obviously we're going to look to invest that money in the January transfer window. Obviously Valencia left at the end of last season after he served 10 years with Manchester United. Obviously, we do know he had currently left. Obviously, we know Ander Herrera, of course, left the football club. Also, Marion Fellaini, of course, left the football club and that. So 4 players left. I think it also confirmed early on this week, of course, that Joe Pereira, of course, has gone to Scotland. I think he's gone on loan with Hearts and that. But I do believe, more players do need to be sold. And don't forget, we have got until the 2nd of September, to negotiate the sale of players. Well, the European transfer window, of course, is still open. So I do believe Darwin and Rojo do need to be sold by the football club, because, they're 2 problematic players at Manchester United. Marcus Rojo, I think his Manchester United career has been mainly affected. Rojo's with about injuries he has sustained and that. Rojo's just got under 2 years left on his contract with Manchester United. Obviously, he's now 29 years of age. To be fair to Rojo, he was, good throughout pre-season and all that. He was good throughout pre-season, was Rojo. Obviously, Everton inquired about getting him on deadline day and that. We know we put a £25 million valuation on him, but I just don't think he's exceeded expectation levels at Manchester United and that. And obviously, Rojo isn't first choice anywhere. I think with Darmian, he also needs to go, because let's be honest, Darmian hasn't really been given a chance as a Manchester United player. He's enjoyed a very, very difficult time as Matteo Darmian. So I think, we also need to get rid of him. And I think, we could generate maybe around 30 or 35 million pounds for the departures of Matteo Darmian and Marcus Rojo and that. So I do believe there are 2 players that need to leave the football club. But now we've got a lot of central defenders anyway, and I think we need to orchestrate on getting rid of at least one. Obviously, with the arrival of Harry Maguire, obviously I think we've got around 7 central defenders now. We've got Maguire, we've got Lindelof, we've got Bay, we've got Rojo, we've got Smalling, we've got Jones, we've got Alex Tuanzebe. So we have got a lot of central defenders and all that. I think we are orchestrating on keeping Alex Tuanzebe. I think we're orchestrating on keeping him, following the serious knee injury that Eric Bay had sustained and that. Obviously, we do know that Eric Bay is out until December with a serious knee injury and that. And I do know how much of an imperative player that Eric Bay is, and he is a very, very imperative player is Eric Bay, and he's got great potential. But I think Eric Bay's Manchester United career has been mainly affected, with the amount of injuries he has sustained and that. Obviously, he has been at the club over 3 years. He's heading into his 4th season now, I think, Eric Bay as a Manchester United player and that. I think we would be open to selling him, if the right offer came in and that. Obviously, I think we'd be looking to at least recoup the money that we did pay for him from Villarreal back in 2016. I do believe we paid around £30 million from Villarreal. My overarching view on Smalling and Jones, they're no longer good enough, to represent Manchester United, and obviously, they're going to find game time, very, very difficult this season. That obviously, Smalling and Jones have been 2 long-serving players at the football club. Smalling's been here 9 years. Of course, Phil Jones has been here 8 years. So obviously, they've both nearly been here a decade, and obviously they have been here, since the Alex Ferguson era. And I think they're too inconsistent now, and it was bad business for Manchester United last season, giving them 2 new long-term contracts and that. So yeah, I think we definitely need to at least offload one central defender in that. But like I did say about that current midfield, I have got concerns about it and that. So I hope we can do everything we can, try and convince Paul Pogba, to remain at the football club, because we do know how much an imperative player he is in that. And it was initially in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans, to build a side around Paul Pogba. But who's our backup to Paul Pogba, if he's to leave this summer, if he's, to obviously get an injury this season. We've got the likes of McTominay, Pereira and Fred. And, don't get me wrong, we've seen glimpses of how good they are, because, they did really, really well throughout pre-season and that. And I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer expects a lot more from Fred this season, because actually, Fred endured a difficult first season with Manchester United and that. To be fair, under the Jose Mourinho era, Fred never really got the opportunity, let's be honest, never really got the chance. But I thought Fred did well towards the back end of last season, and when he did play in pre-season, I thought, Fred was quite good in that. Obviously, when he did participate in pre-season, that. But I think Fred is more mobile and better on the ball than Nemanja Matic. But I just don't think Fred, replicated, what he did at Shakhtar Donetsk, because I thought Fred, was an exceptional player at Shakhtar Donetsk. I think maybe the club did overpay for Fred, because obviously he's on that list of one of our most expensive signings, because we paid just under £50 million for him last summer from Shakhtar Donetsk and that. But a much better solution than Matic. I think McTominay and Pereira are also better solutions than Matic. But McTominay, Pereira and Fred, I don't know if they've got all the attributes, to succeed at Manchester United. I don't know, if they are the long-term solutions. So I am still, very, very sceptical about that and that. I think McTominay, will see. I think he'll play well this season. McTominay, obviously, he's going to get given them chance. And I thought McTominay again was good throughout pre-season. I thought he looked very, very good alongside Paul Pogba in the game against Chelsea and that. And when McTominay's playing well, he does play between the lines well. He does play them sub-line passes and that. And he's of course still got a lot of development minimum as McTominay. With Pereira, obviously he's got a bit of experience under his belt now. Pereira, obviously, I think he played throughout pre-season. Obviously, don't forget he went on loan spells, with Granada and Valencia in Spain, so he gained a bit more experience in that aspect and that, and he's still, of course, very, very young. But like I said, I've got concerns about that midfield, and I think Matic is very, very inconsistent. I think he's another player that needs to leave Manchester United, does Nemanja Matic, because obviously he's too slow, he's aging up, he isn't getting any younger. I do know a lot of people talk about, that Matic is highly experienced in that, and obviously, he's won silverware before, because obviously he did win a couple of titles and that with Chelsea, did Matic. And obviously, at the time we got him anyway, it wasn't our first choice, it was our third choice sign, was Nemanja Matic and that. But he makes that midfield, look totally imbalanced, and he's too slow in that. And I've just got so many strong reservations about him. I know Matic was first choice last season because obviously, like when Herrera was at the football club last season, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and first choice midfield trio was obviously Herrera, Pogba and Matic in that. And to be fair, they did blend in very, very well all together. But I think now it'll be changed now, because obviously Herrera's left, and I think with due to Matic's inconsistency, I think he will not be a first choice now, the Nemanja Matic, which is very, very good. good, to be quite honest with you. But Matic is aging up, but, we have got quite a few aging up players in our squad. We've also got quite a few young upcoming players, but I thought, the young upcoming players, were a fruition, throughout pre-season, and I do believe, there will be a fruition this season, because I do believe the majority of the young upcoming players, obviously, will get given their opportunities, and that obviously the fringe players will get given their chances. Also, the experienced players, of course, will get their chance in that. But obviously, I can obviously, see the vast improvements in Manchester United. I've been analysing the games, throughout pre-season. I also analysed the game against Chelsea, and I can see the vast improvements already. I think our defensive transition looks very, very good, and I don't think we're going to concede nowhere near as many goals as we did last season, because last season we conceded 54 goals in 38 Premier League games, and that was actually our highest total, of course, in 40 years. And I think, as well, this season we're going to score a lot more goals this season. We only managed 53 goals in the Premier League last season, but, we lacked that pace last season. This is the main factor reason why I wasn't scoring enough goals. This is why, of course, I wasn't ruthless enough in front of goal. We might have been creating chances, but of course I wasn't clinical enough. And as it did prove out, in the game against Chelsea, we was very, very clinical, even though we didn't create a lot of chances. But when the chances came to us, we definitely took our chances and that. But we do look much better now in the attacking third in the pitch. I still believe that we need the right winner in there, but I think we look much better in that attacking third in the pitch. You've got Daniel James with electrifying pace and that. You've got Rashford and Martial. They've been absolutely fantastic so far, and I think they're going to succeed this season. Martial and Rashford. I don't think they've emulated that level as yet. But I think this season, both players are going to do really, really well. My overarching view on Marcus Rashford is his finishing's really, really improved. I think he's good at receiving the ball. He's really, really good at getting them runs in behind his Rashford. And of course, he is only 21 years of age. And with Martial, obviously he's being given that number 9 shirt. Obviously, Martial will be playing in more of a central position this season. I know he supposedly, he primarily actually plays on the left, and he's played in that number 11. Well, he's played as a number 11, quite a lot of times as Martial, but he has now obviously been given her that number 9, and I think he looks more effective in that central position anyway, as it did get proven out throughout the course of pre-season that Martial Martial, seems to be more effective from that central position and that. But I think, they're going to, both do really, really well this season, Martial and Rashford. Rashford scored quite a few goals throughout pre-season. He also, got 2 goals against Chelsea. Also, Martial got his name on the score sheet against Chelsea, and he also scored quite a few goals, throughout pre-season, did Anthony Martial. And obviously, with the likes of Mason Greenwood, he's going to get his chances this season, which is also very, very good to see. I think he looked very, very lively, when he came on in the game against Chelsea. And, Greenwood is only 17 years of age. He's still inexperienced, but obviously he's gained a bit more experience, with pre-season that as Mason Greenwood and that. I do believe Chong should be given his chances this season. Obviously, Chong didn't play in the game against Chelsea, but obviously, should be giving his chance in that, because was quite impressive throughout pre-season. Also, was good in some of the games last season, that he did play with the first team and that. But we do look much better now in that attacking third of the pitch and that. But like I said, some Manchester United fans have said, maybe we should orchestrate on loaning a couple of the young players out, because maybe they'll think it'll be beneficial for their future. It'll gain them a bit more experience and all that. But maybe we won't consider doing that now. But I do believe the likes of Greenwood, Chon, and also, Angel Gomez, they will be a big part of the squad this season. That which is obviously very, very good to see. But like I said, the midfielders, we was in for throughout the course of the summer. I think we'll probably revive our interest in them in January. So I definitely think we'll go back in for Bruno Fernandes in the January transfer window, because obviously reflecting back throughout the course of the summer and that, obviously, Bruno Fernandes was one of our main priority targets in that. And, I would have been excited about the prospect of Bruno Fernandes playing alongside Paul Pogba in our midfield, because, they would have complemented each other fantastically well and that. But, if we can get Bruno Fernandes in January, I will be very, very happy about that indeed. But like I did say, we haven't been consistent enough in the last couple of windows, because obviously, we didn't get anyone in January. We didn't get our number 1 targets last summer. Well, back under Jose Mourinho anywhere, the board weren't back in the signings, that he wanted to recommend in to the football club. So analysing our recruitment policy, it has been quite poor in the last couple of windows and that. But I know the vast majority of our fans have been given board. They've been giving the board, criticism. They've also been giving Ed Woodward criticism. They've also been criticising, the Glazers and that. Basically, demanding them out and that. But I'll give the board credit, they've actually, assured that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, will not be fired this season, because they realise themselves that they haven't, of course, backed him enough, even though the board did assure at the start of the summer, that they would, of course, have been backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But actually, early on in the summer, if you reflect back early on this summer, we was actually, in search for a sporting director, obviously, to change the structure of the club and that, and I did say there needed to be a structural change in the football club and that, and obviously there was quite a few names mentioned, who could have been, our sporting director at Manchester United, and I did say at the time it would have been beneficial to recommend someone in who, of course, knows the culture of the club, someone who, of course, has got the experience and that, and there was quite a few names, thrown into that hat, but then obviously, it come to a conclusion of us getting a sporting director in, because it reported said that, Ed Woodward, of course, would have been overseeing our transfer business, which obviously, that he did, and that obviously, he was working on getting a few deals more the line and that, but it was just a shame that we didn't get all the current players that we did currently want and that. But for me, at least, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's had some kind of transfer strategy, because obviously, as you all know, he said at the start of the summer, he wanted to recommend a number of young players to come to Manchester United, that can grow, develop, and emulate into two styles. But to be fair to him, he's brought 3 great new additions to the squad, which I think they're all going to succeed at Manchester United and that. But I think the team is definitely good enough for the top 4 finish, but I still believe, it's not good enough to win the league. So if we can get further more investment in January and next summer, I think we can definitely win the league next season without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt, and that. Obviously, as he updated you earlier on in regards to Alexis Sanchez, obviously I've been keeping up to date of what's been going on with Alexis Sanchez, lately. Well, obviously now Alexis Sanchez's transfer saga away from Manchester United, does continue to persist. Obviously, you got reports emerging out earlier on this week, and that saying that actually Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted Alexis Sanchez out of the football club. This is obviously now coming from the mainstream media, but now recently it turns out that there's been a change of scenery, because now reportedly Solskjaer wants Alexis Sanchez to stay. Obviously he has admitted this, and I think during his press conference for the Wolves Manchester United game, obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had been asked about Alexis Sanchez and that, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer believes that Sanchez still wants to be a part of the squad this season, and I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said he's working to his full fitness, he has been training well and that, and he still thinks he's a big part of the squad for this season. That I think Solskjaer expects Sanchez to play a lot of games, once he's fit and that, because obviously we do know that Sanchez has been below on his fitness and that, and Solskjaer does believe that Sanchez, will come good this season, and Solskjaer also, he also, denied speculation that, Sanchez, was training with the Manchester United reserve team, because you got reports emerging out earlier on this week saying that reportedly, Solskjaer was ready to send Alexis Sanchez to train with the reserve team in order, of course, to get him out with the football club and all that. But I do believe anywhere that Sanchez probably will end up now staying at Manchester United, because due to his substantial wages, obviously, this has been a stumbling block of him, of course, leaving Manchester United, because obviously Sanchez is the highest paid player at the club. Obviously, he's on 400 grand a week, potentially rise up to 500 grand a week, based on the image rights and the bonuses and that. Obviously, he's the highest paid player at the club. He's, of course, the highest paid player in the Premier League and that. And I did say, his wages having a really bad effect on the football club. But like I said, reports were coming out quite recently saying that a trio of Italian clubs were interested in Sanchez. So it said Juventus were interested, also, in I think Inter Milan, AC Milan and that. I think it said Napoli were interested as well. But reports came out last week saying that Roma were in talks with Manchester United about the prospect of taking Alexis Sanchez out on a long season loan. And I did say the only way we'd get rid of Sanchez is if we did put him out on a long season loan, and obviously, we was willing to pay the majority of his substantial wages in that. But with Sanchez, obviously he's not only been below his fitness, obviously he hasn't even been first choice anywhere, plus he's behind the likes of Daniel James, Martial and Rashford and that. But if Sanchez is to stay at the football club, which I think he will, he'll definitely get given his chances this season. Sanchez obviously didn't play against Chelsea, wasn't even part of the squad for the game against Chelsea, wasn't part of the pre-season squad because I think he'd sustained a hamstring injury whilst he was on Copa America duty with Chile in that. But I think he's working on full fitness, Miss Sanchez. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer believes that Sanchez, will come good this season. So according to what he said, it's looking like Sanchez is going to be remaining at the football club. But we do know Sanchez has been a huge disappointment, since his arrival from Arsenal, back in January 2018. He's made 45 appearances in all competitions and only managed 5 goals. So he's lacked goals. He's been largely inconsistent in that. So hopefully we can see improvements in him. And Sanchez has obviously been at the club now. Is it around? I think he's been at the club now around 18 months, so he has been hugely disappointing in that. But Sanchez, he hasn't exceeded expectation levels at Manchester United, but I thought he would have done, because actually, he was an exceptional player at Arsenal. He did have 4 good years out with Arsenal. Won quite a few FA Cups with Arsenal. I think he flourished under Arsene Wenger's guidance. At Arsenal. He also did well when he was younger at Barcelona, and of course, he did have 3 good years at Barcelona, and that and he played under Pep Guardiola's guidance. But he just hasn't replicated many of these form at Manchester United. And Sanchez is now 30 years of age. Of course, he is aging up, so I really can say he hasn't really got a future at the club. But I do believe now, Sanchez, is expected to stay at the football club, according, to what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said. Solskjaer obviously gave his overarching view on Fred as well, and he believes that Fred, he'll be a big part of the squad this season. Well, he expects better things from Fred this season, and I think if Fred gets the chances this season, I think he will definitely come good. Well, I hope he can anywhere. Well, I hope he can anywhere. The news about Paul Pogba, as he updated you about Paul Pogba on recent videos and that. Obviously, you got Matthias, Paul Pogba's brother, coming out with the media recently, and he's reportedly said that his brother, does want to leave Manchester United and all that. But we do know the transfer saga of Paul Pogba, does continue to persist, and I'm becoming infuriated with the Paul Pogba transfer saga, because I want to know if he's either staying or leaving the football club. I think he is now. Well, it's likely now. I think he will end up staying at Manchester United. Will Paul Pogba, because obviously we've put a substantial amount on Paul Pogba in that, and I think this is seen to be the stumbling block for the majority of the summer of him, of course, leaving Manchester United, because obviously Real Madrid have struggled to meet our 150 or our 160 million pound valuation. Obviously, recent reports have indicated out saying that we're demanding that one around 180 million pounds for him. Obviously, that's just over double than what we initially paid for Paul Pogba back in 2016, because obviously we paid around 89 million pounds for him in 2016, of course, from Juventus and that. Now, obviously, we do know Paul Pogba's had a great start this season. He's done well this season for Manchester United so far. He did really well throughout pre-season. He also did well in the game against Chelsea, providing 2 assists in that. And Paul Pogba's a very influential player. I think Paul Pogba performs better when he's freed up, and that's how I think Paul Pogba should be freed up in the game against Wolves in that. Because that's where you mainly see the best of him. That's where he expresses himself more, when he's freed up, Paul Pogba in that. But Paul Pogba can score goals. He can create chances. He's good at feeding the attackers in that. So he's a very imperative player, and I want to keep Paul Pogba more now, but especially with our failure, of course, to land a midfielder in that. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how much an imperative player he is. But I still believe there is uncertainty around Paul Pogba's future. Paul Pogba did say that he could still leave Manchester United this summer and that. But reflecting back a couple of months ago, Paul Pogba did say that he's seeking for a new challenge. He publicly admitted that he wants to leave Manchester United, and he did say a couple of months ago he was intending on even going on strike, to force move away from the football club. But we do know Paul Pogba's been relentlessly linked to a move to Real Madrid. Obviously, I do believe if he does leave Man United, he will go to Real Madrid. I don't think he'll make a return back to Turin, because he did have 4 good years in Turin, but obviously, before he rejoined Manchester United in 2016. And let's be honest, in the majority of his over 3 years, he has been here. Paul Pogba has been widely inconsistent in that, but we have seen glimpses, of course, of his best form. And when he's, playing to his best, he's like 2 players in one, and he's one of the best midfielders in the world. And Paul Pogba's 26, so he's in his prime, and of course, he has still got a lot of years ahead of him in that. But I believe, Real Madrid obviously has been his first choice preference, and his likely destination has been Real Madrid. But obviously, reflecting back early in the summer, Paul Pogba was obviously talking a hell of a lot about Real Madrid. I think he did say at some point in his career he'd love to play for Real Madrid. He was keen on playing under Zinedine Zidane's guidance and that. He did classify Real Madrid as one of the biggest clubs in the world and that. Maybe he may not spend the rest of his playing career with Man United, Paul Pogba. But, I think, he could stay at the club for this season, which is obviously, very, very good indeed. But yeah, I think Real Madrid has been his first choice preference. Obviously, Real Madrid have spent a substantial amount this summer. They've spent around £300 million on 5 players, and don't get me wrong, they could still do further more investment in Madrid. Their window, doesn't shut until the second of September. And I do believe Real Madrid have sold quite a few of their players, so they have generated some of the money back. I think they've generated around £100 million back, and that at the £300 million they have currently spent in that. But you got Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola. He came out, at the beginning of pre-season. He did say Paul Pogba is in the process of leaving Manchester United and that. But Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, has been in the process of finding Paul Pogba a new club for the entirety of the summer, should I say. But Paul Pogba's still got 2 years left in his contract with Manchester United, with an option to extend it by a further year. And of course, he's our most expensive signing. He's not only our most expensive signing, he's a World Cup winner. He's obviously, as well, one of the highest paid players of the football club, is Paul Pogba. Not the highest, but obviously, one of them the highest. I think he's on around 290 grand a week. And I do believe the players got their wages cut by 25%. Of course, with our failure, to qualify for the Champions League. We've actually failed to qualify for the Champions League 3 times out of the 6 seasons, since Alex Ferguson's retirement and that. But it hasn't only been this summer. Paul Pogba's been widely spoken about. Obviously last summer he was widely spoken about and subject to a lot of transfer speculation, obviously based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho. Obviously Paul Pogba got one of his best wishes when Jose Mourinho left the football club. But I do believe last summer, there was talks about Paul Pogba going back to Juventus. There was also talks about him, I think, going to Barcelona, back in the January transfer window and that. But I think, Paul Pogba came out quite recently. He said he believes he's fully committed to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's project and that. But I do believe at the time he did say he wanted to leave because obviously maybe he's frustrated with the lack of competitiveness at Manchester United. Maybe he feels as though he isn't playing amongst good enough players and that. And maybe he believes if he goes to Real Madrid, he'll obviously be playing amongst better players and that. But Paul Pogba now, could actually remain in the football club. Don't get me wrong, will generate a substantial amount for his departure. If he does leave, we'll definitely get over £100 million from him and that. And with that money, we could probably go and get 2 or 3 players in the January transfer window. But if we just say we got 150 million for Pogba, and then we went and spent 150 million pounds on 2 or 3 players, that wouldn't be really good business from the football club because basically, we'd be only spending, what we can generate and that, and we're not that sort of a football club that does that. So. But I think he'll end up staying at the football club anyway. But obviously, the rumours do continue to persist about Paul Pogba. And like I said, we had Paul Pogba when he was younger. Don't forget, we did have him when he was younger. Obviously, this was back under the Alex Ferguson era. I do believe, we got Paul Pogba from Lee Harvey. I think he spent a couple of years in our youth setup, did Paul Pogba. And I do believe, based on limited appearances, we ended up letting Paul Pogba, go on a free transfer. And then obviously, he went and had 4 good years in Turin with Juventus, and then obviously we paid then £8 to £9 million for the player. But I think Solskjaer did say he has considered Paul Pogba for the captaincy. This is probably maybe in a bid to convince him to remain at the football club. I do believe different players and that will get turned to be the captain and that. I think our current captain is Ashley Young. Is it Ashley Young, if I'm right? There was talks that Harry Maguire could get the captaincy. I think De Gea of course was demanding it and that. But yeah, I do believe, Paul Pogba, will end up now staying at the football club. But Paul Pogba's stats, are very, very impressive. Especially, last season he scored 16 goals and provided 11 assists in 47 games in all competitions and that. But it has been Real Madrid mainly battling it out for him this summer. But it's also been talks about him making a return back to Turin. With Juventus, I don't think they'll be able to afford him outright anyway. They won't be able to afford him outright. With Juventus, they've also done good business this summer. So I think with Juventus, they'd have to offload a couple of their players. To obviously fund the move for Paul Pogba because I just don't think they'd be able to afford him outright. So that's the latest news about Pogba. But like I did say to you, I know we've been playing catch up for the last 6 years or so, and obviously we haven't been the same team since Alex Ferguson retired and that. We haven't been the same team, and I did say now, regardless of our managers, no one's gonna, ever follow Alex Ferguson's legacy. We're never gonna achieve what we achieved under Alex Ferguson. Because obviously we had 26, 27 successful years under Alex Ferguson and all that, and obviously we haven't been the same team since then, and I do know a hell of a lot of money has been invested into the football club, over the years. Obviously, £148 million has been spent this summer under Solskjaer. Obviously, just under £400 million was spent under Jose Mourinho on 11 players. Obviously, we spent over £200 million under Louis van Gaal era. Obviously, we spent just under £67 million under David Moyes era, of course. And so that adds up to around £968 million. We have spent since Alex Ferguson's retirement. So that's just under £1 billion we spent. Like I said, if you want to take into account what we spent under Ferguson, obviously, it is way over £1 billion and that. Obviously, since our Champions League success, back in 2008 against Chelsea in Moscow, definitely over £1 billion has been spent, since that point and that. But like I said, we've spent a hell of a lot of money at the football club in the last 6 years. We've also, overpaid for players in recent years as well. We've also got players on big contracts. But like I said, Manchester United, of course, can't afford to do this. But I've also been frustrated, with the lack of silverware, in the last, 6 years or so. We haven't really won much, We won the Europa League and League Cup under Jose Mourinho era. Obviously, that came in Jose Mourinho's first season. Obviously, won the FA Cup back under Louis van Gaal era. Obviously, that came in 2016. And obviously, we haven't won the Premier League, since 2013. Obviously, that's over 6 years ago now, and obviously, that came in Alex Ferguson's last season and that at Manchester United. But I don't think we can be back, to being a competitive elite level football club. But like I said, we haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers. Obviously, 3 managers have already been sacked, since Alex Ferguson's retirement. And obviously, this is the 4th manager we've had, since Alex Ferguson's retirement. We're not really known for sacking their club, as you all know. But I think, Solskjaer can bring the glory days back to Manchester United. He can also bring that fear factor back to the club, because obviously that fear factor's gone, like I said, since Alex Ferguson's retirement. But, my opinion on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is, he's the right man for Manchester United. He knows the traditions of the club. He knows the club inside out. He was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years under Alex Ferguson, don't forget. And he flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance. And, he managed Manchester United reserve team for a couple of years, so he watched some of this team this day and age grow and develop, did Solskjaer. Also, he's got a bit of experience as a manager, not really to the highest level and that, not really to the highest level. He did win a couple of Norwegian titles there with Mould and that, and he had a short tenure at Cardiff, but didn't really work out for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Cardiff and that. And I think Solskjaer's 46 years of age and that. I do believe he's got the stature, to get us in that commanding position. If he was managing somewhere else in the Premier League, maybe an Arsenal or maybe Chelsea, something like that, I don't think Solskjaer would succeed there. But as he knows about Manchester United inside out, I just think it will work out for him at Manchester United. Well, I'm hopeful it can anywhere. I'm hopeful, that it can anywhere. And he had got a great pedigree. He's got a great pedigree as a player. Obviously, one of his most iconic moments, was back in 1999, of course, when obviously, of course, he did win his the treble. And obviously, that's one of our greatest achievements and that. But we, even though we've been inconsistent in the last 6 years, we are still, one of the biggest clubs in the world. We are the most successful team in England, historically. We've won 13 Premier League, 20 all in all. Don't forget, won 3 back-to-back Premier League titles back in 2007. 2008 and of course 2009. So our history is absolutely fantastic in that. So like I've already given my predictions, haven't I, for the top 4 and all that. And I think in my opinions on Man City, I think they're the dominant force in England at the moment. I think City are going to retain the league yet again this season. City have obviously won it twice on the trot. Obviously they're going for their 3rd in a row. Obviously their 5th all in all. But I think Pep Guardiola's got the right philosophy. He's got that winning mentality. He's obviously won silverware. He's won loads of silverware as a manager. He won loads of silverware. When he was a player and that. And I think Pep Guardiola's emulated the football. What he did at Barcelona and Bayern Munich, and of course he has brought that to Manchester City and that. So I think they're going to win the league again. I do believe Liverpool, they'll probably finish 2nd, but I don't think they'll win the league. Liverpool, I think overall have won more trophies than us now. Obviously they won the Super Cup midweek against Chelsea. They did win 5-4 on penalties and that did Liverpool. They did win 5-4 on penalties, you know, they're Liverpool, so they've won 43, you know, we've won 42, but that doesn't make them better than us, you know. Historically, obviously Liverpool have never won the Premier League since they got founded in 92, 93, and they haven't won it all in all, you know, for 3 decades of Liverpool. But I do believe, you know, we can still win a title, you know, before we can win another title, you know, before Liverpool do win that. Liverpool didn't do any business this summer, but they invested well in the, you know, in the previous window, so they did well in January. You know, they also did well in the last you know, last summer as well, did Liverpool, so they invested well in the last couple of seasons. My opinions on Arsenal, I think they're going to do well this season. Arsenal, I don't know if they're going to win the league. I'm sceptical about them winning the league, but I think they definitely, you know, can finish in the top 4 this season. You know, with Tottenham, I think they should be competing this season as well. My opinions on Chelsea, I think they're going to have, if they don't back Frank Lampard enough, I think they're going to be in for a difficult campaign this season. Now Chelsea, I don't think they're going to get the top 4. Chelsea, I think they're probably finishing 6th or 5th. Will Chelsea have got a lot of problems, haven't they? Obviously, you know, they've got a transfer ban. You know, they've lost one of their best players, you know, throughout the course of the summer, you know, through Eden Hazard and that. Obviously, they did win the Europa League last season, that did Chelsea, but, you know, they have got problems now with Chelsea, and got quite a few injuries as well. And you know, these question marks, you know, around Frank Lampard, you know, can he succeed to the highest level of management? And that is the question. And you know, Frank Lampard does know about Chelsea Football Club because he was a great long-serving player for them for 13 years. Obviously, you know, their all-time record-leading goal scorer with 211 goals and that. But you know, I just don't know if he's got the stature, you know, to get Chelsea in that commanding position, because he hasn't really got the experience of a manager. Don't forget, Frank Lampard only started in management last season with Derby. You know, don't forget. So I think Chelsea are going to enjoy a difficult time this season. That. So that's just my opinions on that. And I've already given you my preview, you know, for the Wolves Manchester United game. Obviously, it's on Monday evening. Like I did say to you on my previous videos, and I'm not going to be on my channel for the next 5 or 6 days, because I am going on holiday tomorrow for 5 days, and I won't have time, you know, to do many videos. But as soon as I get back, you know, like I said, I will keep you up to date of what's going on with all the news and that. But yeah, and I also believe this season, you know, we're going to improve against the top 6 sides, because our record against the top 6 sides, you know, wasn't that good last season, you know, let's be honest in that. But I think we're going to win this game against Wolves, even though Wolves are a well-organised team. You know, they defend deep, you know, they pass the ball well, they're good from set pieces, you know, they show good attacking intent and that, and they have got good players of Wolves, and their record against the top 6 sides, you know, is pretty good in that. Solskjaer hasn't got a great record against Wolves. He's lost all his 3 games against Wolves, you know, twice with us last season, I think one term and that with Cardiff. But Wolves are a really difficult team to beat, especially at Molineux. And Wolves got 7th last season, you know, they finished 7th. Obviously, you know, I think they got, you know, a qualification, you know, for the Europa League, did Wolves. And you've got to praise Nuno Sancho, because he has done a really good job so far with Wolves in that. But like I said, I think Solskjaer will rotate the team a bit. I don't think he'll go with the same team, obviously, as he did do against Chelsea, but I think, you know, he will definitely, you know, rotate him a little bit. So Fred could be in line to start or participate. Greenwood could even start in the game. Darmian's been training, but I doubt Darmian, you know, will be playing because he served his 2 requirements at the club. Maybe Chon could be involved. Maybe Sanchez and that, you know, could be involved. So I do believe, you know, he will rotate him a little bit against Wolves. But yeah, it's very imperative that, of course, that we do win that game. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. The main part of this video was to give you the news about Jadon, Sancho and all the rest of the latest news. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider it. Subscribe, as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very soon. Thanks for watching.